All right, so remember yesterday we actually were working on our plan for our argumentative essay about getting a pet. Our issue was, should we get a pet or not? Our claim was that our family needs a dog. Our first main reason, we brainstormed reasons. Remember all those different reasons? We brainstormed why we would want one. We also brainstormed why our parents might not want us to get one. So when we look at this, our first box was our main reason one is that a pet provides a healthy companion. Like if we have a dog, by taking it on walks, it's going to help with our physical activity. It's going to also help us with our mental health by cheering us up, where it might help us manage loneliness and depression. It lowers blood pressure and cholesterol. And remember, that was an ethical appeal because we pointed out that we got our information from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. Our second main reason was protection. The dog can help protect you when you're home alone. It's going to bark at strangers, let you know when someone's around that shouldn't be around. And it's going to protect me when I'm gone somewhere, like to the park or on a walk. Okay. We left off, we need main reason 3. And from our brainstorm yesterday, what did we say main reason 3 was? To help us learn responsibility, right? And we also said that this is probably where parents are going to push back, right? They're going to have that counterclaim. Remember, our claim is we should get a dog because it's good for our health. It's good. Oh, sorry. It's good for our health. It's good for protection, and it helps us learn responsibility. But we said that parents are probably going to push back that it's expensive and we've been irresponsible in the past. So how are we going to fight against this counterclaim? We know that this is their big push. It's too expensive and you're not always so responsible. So how am I going to keep from having to do this all myself? That's what your parents are going to ask. So what kind of evidence or examples can we give that will help us to fight that? Arredondo. Okay, so we can do chores. Now, can we promise to do chores? So we have to like build a history of doing chores, right? So if you've been responsible, you can point out, like, I do my chores every week. You never have to, you maybe have to ask me one time, but you're not like, you've given a history. What's the difference between a history and a promise? Javon? Okay, the history is right, that you've done it often, you've built the history, yes? Thank you. Very nicely done, Caitlin. A promise can be broken. We promise things all the time and then we don't follow through, right? And so that's not very helpful. Colin, I need you to close your computer. That's not very helpful to say, oh, I promise I'm going to take care of the dog. I promise I'm going to do all my chores. I promise, because every single human being has broken a promise. But if you build a history, like let's say you've been wanting a dog for a while, and so for the last month, you've been really good at doing your chores, keeping up with your homework, improving your grades. Now you've got like, Mom, think about for the last month, how much I've been working, how responsible I've been, right? They say it takes 28 days to build a good habit. So like for a month, I've done my chores every day. Now your mom is going to see that, or your dad's going to see that as, oh, this is a habit now. This is not like a one-time thing because you want something, right? So we can do our chores, do our responsibilities. What else can we do? How can we prove that we're responsible enough to take care of a dog? Okay, by taking care of ourselves, what do you mean? Wait, you said something before. I don't know if you said self or something else. Okay. Okay. Who else might you be responsible for taking care of at home?
Brother.
Like your little brothers or siblings. Now, if you can, listen, if you can take care of a little brother, should you also be able to take care of a dog? Yeah. So like you babysit at home. If you can be trusted to feed them while mom's at work, then hopefully you can be trusted to feed a dog. What other ways can we show that we're responsible for a dog? Think outside the box a little bit. Eugene. Okay. Okay, so how do you show that you're not going to stay inside so much? Okay, but let's go even deeper than that. I like where you're going. Like, go outside, be outside, because frankly, our parents don't want us sitting on the couch scrolling our phone all day, right? None of our parents really like that. So, like I said, think a little bit outside the box. Where is a place where they have lots of animals and dogs that always needs help? A shelter. Sorry, an animal center, an animal shelter. So could we possibly volunteer at the animal shelter so that we know, like, full force, like how much effort it takes to take care of a dog? We know what it's like to clean up after them. We know how to bathe them. We know how to take them for walks. Like, and also, isn't that showing some responsibility? If you say, like, for the next 4 Saturdays, I'm going to volunteer at the animal shelter every morning. Kinari, close the computer. Does that build history of responsibility? And does it also give you some real working knowledge of what it's like to deal with dogs? Yes. Okay. So these are all really good examples. Now, are most of these emotional, logical, or ethical? Yeah, probably a little bit of each, but I would say probably emotional. Do your parents really want you to be responsible? Yes, it's their number one goal in life, probably, right? They want to raise responsible children who then become responsible adults.
That's why they say, like, when you go out in public and you do bad things, it reflects on your parents.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, and that's not always fair, because depending on who you're with is going to lead to a lot of, like, how you behave. But we do want to remember, like, how we behave in other places reflects on not just who we are, but who our families are, right? And what we've been raised as. So yeah, this is probably a pretty good emotional appeal. All right. So do we have some good, what about the money? They are going to come at us with the money. Well, but who's paying you to take out the garbage? Your parents. It's their money anyway. Yes. Okay. So we could maybe get a job, but what are we going to do with that money? Save it. If we adopt from a shelter, is that the same as going out and buying a $500 puppy? No. It'll probably be less expensive, but maybe we could get an after-school job or get a small job to help with the expenses. Get a small, oh, did I miss it? Oh, yep, I did. Thank you. Good eyes. Good eyes. Get a small job to help. Just get a small. Like a small Diet Coke. Small cheeseburger. All right. Make sure you have that down. Okay. So let's talk about this conclusion paragraph. This is the paragraph that's going to look most similar to our opening paragraph. And in our opening, we had our issue and our claim. So in our closing, we are going to restate that claim. Do I want to say it the exact same way? No. Why? It's... Now we've got our reasons here. Could I list our reasons in our restated claim? Sure. But also, it's just boring to say the exact same thing again, right? So our claim was that our family needs a dog, right? So how else could I say that? A dog would greatly, give me a word that would, a dog would greatly help. A dog would greatly benefit. Benefit whom? Our family. Now, I could list out the reasons. I could say a dog would greatly benefit I could remind our reader of our reasons. A dog would greatly benefit our family by helping increase our health, providing protection, and helping me to learn responsibility. So I could list those again one more time. That is a very common move in argumentative or in American communication. We like to remind our readers one more time what I told you. I'm also going to provide a call to action. Now, a call to action. This part, it may not happen in every argumentative. It may not be expressly stated. But think about like the commercials that we studied a couple of weeks ago. What did all of them want us to do? Go to Wendy's, buy the soda, like treat our kids better, whatever it was, whatever they were trying to sell us on, that's what they were wanting us to do, right? They didn't say, so next time, well, sometimes they did at the end of the Wendy's commercial, they were like, so next time you are thinking about fast food, try Wendy's. Like they outwardly said it. Sometimes it's not directly stated, but in written form, like in an essay, I think it's good to directly state what you want your reader to do. In this case, what do we want our parents to do? Do we want them to go get us a dog? Do we want them to think about or consider getting a dog? Isn't that a little more politeful? That's not a word. Polite way to, instead of saying like, so go get me a dog now. That's not going to work. You know it's not going to work. Okay. So please consider what? Okay, but we just said the word dog here. Please consider, well, we're not changing our pet all of a sudden. What's another word for a dog?
Puppy.
Oh, now a puppy is a lot of work. Do we want to start with a puppy? A pet? A mutt? A friend? A critter? What about a furry friend? Right, but we've already stated dog, right? So they know we're talking about dogs. But does that, if I call him a furry friend, doesn't that remind them about how he's going to be a healthy companion? Yeah. See what I did there? Okay. So please consider adding a furry friend to what? Okay, but I just said family, to our community. Home. I like that one. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to let you copy that down. All right, so here's the thing. When we have finished this whole plan, if I use this plan and everyone gets scratch paper on the STAR test, everyone gets scratch paper on any computer assignment we have here, it really is best to plan it out on paper. Because what happens? Here's what happens. I'm going to just show you what happens when you guys start just typing. Y'all have this blank screen and you're like, all right, if I said, tell me why you should get a dog. We should get a dog because, and then you type, and you type, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, that's all I can say. And then this is what you turn in, but it with actual words and not just like random typing. That's the kind of thing I get when you guys don't plan. But we have taken this time to really think about our reasons. We brainstormed our reasons, right? We chose our reasons. Then we filled in our structure. So now I can take this and I should be able to just start. There's one last thing that I want to do to take my writing from good to great. Emmanuel, you with me? Is I'm going to focus on one last thing here in my my introduction. and it's called a hook. What do you think I'm going to use this hook to do? So get the reader's attention. And there are a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you 3 different ways today. There are more than 3, but I'm going to show you 3. One is with a statistic, which is what kind of appeal? Ethical, logical, or emotional? Logical, right? It's a number. It's a fact. So I can do a statistic. I can do a quote. Like if a famous person said it or someone said it better than you, let them say it. Or we can use a rhetorical question. I'm going to demonstrate all 3, and I want you to decide which one you think is best. So I'm going to start with a statistic, and you're thinking like, what number are you going to use? How are you going to find it? Guess what? I'm going to use my Google, and I'm going to ask myself, I'm not going to type in the word statistic. What do I really want to know? I want to know how many families in America own what? A dog. Okay, so pet ownership statistics. I'm not going to stop right here because this is just Google. I want to go to the actual site. It says approximately 48 million American households own a dog. Is that a lot? Yeah. Like, if I'm wanting to use that as my statistic, that's a pretty good statistic, right? So I'm going to say 48 million households. I like families better. In the USA own a dog. Why would using a statistic like this be persuasive? I mean, if it's so hard, then how do 48 million other people do it? Right? It's not that hard. Everyone does this. We want to be like everyone else, right? I as a kid want to be like everyone else. I could also, I'm going to freeze my screen so y'all can copy that down. I can also look up a quote on my Google machine, right? I'll come back to this. But if I Google quotes about owning a dog and hit enter, a dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than you love yourself. No matter how you're feeling, a little dog gonna love you. Like, those are pretty good quotes, right? I could take one of these and I could add it as my opening line. What is another way? Now, here's the problem with statistics and quotes. If you don't have access to them, they might not help you. So like on a test, you're not going to have access to Google, right? Just working here in class, working at your job, doing something on your own, you'll have access to Google. You can look at those sites. You can decide if that site is credible. However, when you're taking a test, like unfortunately the STAR test, that you don't have access to that. So the other thing you can do is you can do a rhetorical question, okay? And here's the thing about rhetorical questions. Don't make them basic. If the reader can answer yes or no, it's a basic question. How do people refer to dogs? What do we call them? We call them pets, pups. Man's best friend. And isn't that one of the reasons that we wanted a dog? So it could be a companion? So I'm going to use part of that, like commonly referred to thing, man's best friend. And I'm going to ask my reader, my parents, right? What would life be like, not with a dog, I'm going to say without, and I'm not even going to say a dog yet, a best friend. Because have your parents had a best friend? Probably. Do they know that friends are important? Yes. If you're on your computer, you're in the wrong place. So please close that screen to 45 degrees. Hey, Eugene, think about how you want to be portrayed. Okay? So your parents can relate to this, and can they answer this question with yes or no? Emmanuel, close that computer. No. They have to think about it. And then in their head, they're going to answer it. Even though a rhetorical question doesn't have an answer or doesn't need an answer, people still answer it in their head. It's used to make the reader think. Okay? So I could use a statistic. I could use a quote. I'm going to use a rhetorical question this time. Now, I'm going to move back and forth. I'm going to open up a Google Doc. You can open your computer and use a Google Doc if you want, or you can write it on a piece of notebook paper. If you need a piece of notebook paper, you can come get one. Okay? But I'm actually going to use this plan to write my whole essay. Do you think that I'm going to have more than 5 sentences on my essay? Yes. In fact, right now, I'm probably going to have 5 paragraphs on my essay. But I'm not going to have to sit there and look at a blank screen because I've already filled in my plan. Okay? So, what's up? What do you mean, do your story at home? Well, you have your Google Doc, right? Like, remember, we're just practicing. We're practicing because you're going to work on your own topic and your own argumentative essay starting tomorrow. Okay? All right. So I'm going to start my introduction. I'm going to indent. So I'm going to skip over about 5 spaces. Right? And I'm going to start with that same rhetorical question that I just wrote up here. What would life be like without a best friend? You tell me in your head, what is the answer? Life without a best friend? Lonely? Sad? Horrible? Cold? Depressing? It would probably be pretty, I like this word, miserable. And I'm going to add, and lonely. What are our last 10 minutes? Okay. So remember, hey, now I haven't mentioned a dog yet. Don't we commonly say that a dog is man's best friend? I'm going to include that. Many people say that a dog is man's best friend. And now I'm going to make my claim. Remember, what's my claim? We need a dog. I'm going to make that claim right now. I believe. I believe. That's a stronger word. That adding a dog to our family would be best for everyone. There's my claim. 1, 2, 3. 3 whole sentences. Do I need more than that in an introductory paragraph? Not really. When you look back at our plan, is our introductory paragraph bigger than our body paragraphs? No. Because what's the most important part? Our reasons, our body paragraphs. So we don't want to take up all of our space with an introduction. Now, when I'm typing, when I start a new paragraph, I can either skip a line or I can indent about 5 spaces. If you want to do both, that's okay. Just be aware of how much space you have. Javon, you with me? Are you writing or typing? Okay, so if I've introduced our issue, dogs, made our claim, we need one, okay? I believe it would benefit our family. Now I'm going to start a new paragraph and I'm going to include all this information, okay? From our main reason one. So I need to turn main reason one, a healthy companion, into a whole sentence. Healthy companion is not a sentence. A dog would provide healthy companionship for me. We said that it's going to provide us good physical activity and good mental health. I'm going to start with mental health. And we also have that according to the CDC, and I'm going to name it just in case my parents don't know what that is, the Center for Disease Control, dogs can benefit our mental health by managing loneliness and depression. Why would I be lonely? Why don't I have anyone to play with? Well, I might not have any friends. Why else, Javon? I live by myself, but I'm a kid. Am I really living by myself? No. But what might have happened to brothers and sisters? They don't play with me because they're older, they're working, they've moved out. Okay? So I'm going to explain this even further. As the youngest child, everyone is either at work or gone to school, to college. And how do I spend my days? Let's really use that emotional appeal. Let's make it sad. I spend my days what? Crying. Well, we've already said lonely. What do y'all do when you're bored and you have nothing to do at home? I spend my days scrolling what do your parents not want you doing? Scrolling on your phone mindlessly. By myself. Right? Hey. Yes, thank you for asking first. So, I've told them how it's going to benefit me. How is this going to benefit mom and dad? What did our plan say? It lowers blood pressure and cholesterol, and that's something that most adults worry about? Yeah. And an animal, I'm going to say a pet would also help all of us with our physical health by lowering our blood pressure and cholesterol, while also increasing our cardiovascular exercise. Why would I use a word like cardiovascular? To make it sounds really smart, right? All right, we're going to stop right there. We're going to finish this tomorrow.